This is it, guys. Dreamcatcher has released their best song. And because this song is so amazing, I had to do a day one review of the new Dreamcatcher song, Deja Vu. If you guys don't know, Dreamcatcher is a K-pop group whose primary sound and aesthetic are that of metal and rock, primarily the kind of rock that you hear from modern J-rock. Oh, and this is Phantom Fanda, by the way. Anyway, generally, their singles start pretty low-key, and they build up to a big and bombastic rock piece with heavily melodic choruses. But this one is different in that the verses are mostly calm and sparse with simple and effective production, leaving room for the incredible vocals to shine here, before we get to the chorus with huge rock instrumentals that do more of the talking than the vocals there. Rather than building both the vocals and instrumentals together, it kind of promotes each in different sections of the song by providing them a platform, and then bringing them together in harmony in the latter parts of each chorus. This is the Dreamcatcher single I have been waiting for. I've loved their music since I discovered them, and all of their singles have been amazing, and they kind of go into a few different subgenres to combine with their rock, like hip-hop, like Latin influenced stuff sometimes. This one is just like a pure rock song with elements, of course, of classical music in the piano and strings. While their previous singles have been pretty aimed in the pop direction, this really feels like a rock song to me. Alright, I'm just getting right into this because it's amazing. I can't wait to talk about it. Deja Vu starts off with a somber and light piano instrumental with some compressed drums, a really rather simple drum loop. But as I mentioned before, what is being done vocally is really what's shining through right here. First, Shion introduces the song with this melodic motif that spans a large part of the vocal range. It starts high, and it moves really low, and then it kind of ends, it rests on a kind of mid-high range at the end, pretty comfortably. This is a kind of motif that appears here and there throughout the song. And after a brief piano interlude, we move into this amazing sequence of vocals where Gahyun, Handong, and Sua trade off these short vocal lines kind of back and forth that similarly tread all over the vocal range. All three of them sound great here, but in particular, Gahyun's low, sultry voice really comes through here. It's super fitting, especially lyrically and thematically, that I'll get to later. And just out of principle, Gahyun doesn't get to sing this low usually, at least not on the singles, the main title tracks. And I think that's where her vocal timbre really excels. So, it's great to hear it here. And then the drums drop out for the pre-chorus, and we get only piano and Handong singing an irresistible riff where she slides up in a really high range, but it's done so flawlessly and so effortlessly, and it contrasts the rather low vocals that we had just before this pre-chorus. I think this pre-chorus is my favorite part of the song. And this particular riff here really demonstrates why this particular chord structure, this chord progression, really works in a song like this. This type of chord progression is incredibly emotionally effective. It descends first from the root note F down to the sixth, and then ascends accordingly from F up to the third. And the minor third is that interval B. Let me explain to you why the minor third is so amazing. It's a note where the listener can't help but wonder if it's invoking a melancholy or a hopeful feeling. For the most part, the whole song is in minor because the thematicism going on is really melancholy and reflective. But when we get to parts of the song that rest on this minor third, it makes us wonder, where are we going emotionally? Am I supposed to be feeling still regretful, or is there an inkling of hope out there that something is going to improve? And of course, this works into the lyrics later. And while the chord progression doesn't remain structured like this the whole time, I just thought this particular element is super effective here. This riff is continued by Gahyun and Jiyu as the production begins to build in anticipation of the chorus. The first inclusion of electric guitar comes in here, as well as some string-like synths floating in the top there, before all the instrumental drops out for Yuhyun to begin the chorus, and she starts by saying Deja Vu, descending back from the third to the F, again, effective like I mentioned earlier, and this is where the instrumental takes over, I think. Though Yuhyun does have her vocal interjections during the first half of the chorus, the electric guitar, the drums, and these backup vocals that I assume are synth backup vocals provide the main drive, and it's still kind of like a halftime groove. It hasn't really, while the energy is increased, the beats per minute hasn't at all. And for the second half of the chorus is where the vocals and the production are both doing their thing in tandem. Here we have Shiyun's incredibly powerful high vocals, akin to what we expect from a powerful Dreamcatcher chorus, and it's wonderful. It's the closest thing that we have to catchiness here. This is, like I mentioned, it's not really a pop song like a few of the others have been, but regardless, it's a nice little melody, and her, as mentioned, her voice is super powerful and effective. Now the chorus ends, and we go back to the original calm instrumental, where Dami blows me away with her low vocals here. We've heard Dami sing low before, like on You and I. Here, it works so well with the tone of the song, because one, the instrumental is low-key during the verse for the vocals to stand out, but it's not only low in pitch, it's so quiet that it begins to blend with the really soft instrumental, creating a dynamic range, creating a mood, kind of invoking the lyrics' motifs of reflection, regret, denial, perhaps even paralyzing, the feeling of maybe getting lost in the cycle of life and not being able to escape it. Yeah, incredible work from Dami. Incredible. Now the bridge after the second chorus is also really great, and it works as a transition point for the lyrics' themes, as the lyrics transform from more melancholic to more hopeful, and the instrumental moves into a major key before completely raising the key for the last chorus, as Shiyun belts over these chaotic drums and guitar riffing for a very split second. And this kind of way of parallelizing the lyrical themes with the instrumental is just awesome. It's effective and emotionally tugging. And finally, we reach the climax of this song, man. And since this part of the song is meant to kind of portray the hope of the speaker in contrast to the earlier confusion and regret that pervades the rest of the song, so many things change. We have the key change, we have the lyric changes, which I'll get into in a bit. We have Sua singing the first part of the chorus instead of Yuhyun, and here the drums are going at double time. So while the energy was already picked up in each chorus, now we're moving at light speed. This sudden burst of energy at the end is so exhilarating. It's conceptually compelling given the lyricism, and you can tell Shiyun put all of her effort into this last huzzah vocally. The song ends once again with calm piano, only piano and vocals here, plays itself out so beautifully afterwards with just piano and this new low string instrumental for a super satisfying finish. All of these musical elements and choices create such an emotionally responsive piece that even people who don't understand the language can pick up on. And I will discuss the lyrics a bit here, but the current translations are sparse since, it's been less than a day and may not portray the nuances that a native speaker will understand. And that's kind of a disclaimer I have to have for every review I do of non-English songs. But here we go. The lyrics are pretty melancholic, reflective, and a bit regretful for most of the piece, and though my interpretation might change as the lyrics are better translated, it seems the speaker is in pain regarding a past or present relationship hiccup, and though the root of the past issues were hazy and difficult to understand, discussing how they traveled through a road of thick fog, as similar issues arise over time, they become much clearer. Thus the idea of deja vu, and this is a real life thing. Better relationships breed from turmoil, from experience. What only kills you, what doesn't kill you, make you. What doesn't kill. They went through different stages of dealing with these issues. Sleeping in silence, which I interpret as a way of ignoring the issue, even when dreaming, not thinking about it. Denying the situation by hoping it is a passing illusion. and wanting to go back and do things differently. Ultimately, the lyrics in the chorus are super hopeful. They express a strong determination of working through the issues by holding this pain and trusting their partner and following the pull of their hand. I think the emotional aspect of holding this pain is super powerful and really hits close to home. And incredibly, the last chorus changes up the lyrics just as the intensity of the instrumental changes up that I mentioned before, for a huge emotional finish. Instead of falling into the deja vu, they've reached a point as a human where they've learned, they've adapted, and they can accept or better themselves in this relationship. And I've fallen now is replaced by I'm saved now. The lyrics during this last chorus are so awesomely hopeful and powerful. If I bet all of me on you, and if my heart aches deep like every moment in a dream, I'm not getting far away by your side, and now I'm in my deja vu. Like I said, not so much a settling, but more of an acceptance. The ability and realization that we can work through all these issues, whether or not it was your or my fault. It's super powerful, it's super beautiful. It's a nice self-reflection that we don't always get. A lot of relationship issue related songs are you screwed me over, you did this wrong, and so it's very nice to see. Now, Dreamcatcher always has really great music videos, and they're generally full of dark and creepy imagery. This one is no different. There are motifs of royalty, dark corruption of the soul, being at odds with one another, and some arguable religious imagery. This could be an allusion to the Last Supper, but don't quote me on that. Because I quickly made this review of the song itself, I didn't really put a lot of time into analyzing how the music video supports the themes of the song. But I can say for sure that both the scenery and the styling are absolutely beautiful. It's a pleasure to look at. They all look really pretty here, as they usually do, and there's a lot of sick shots involving like falling, fire, Skyrim, and also these trench coats work surprisingly well for me. So yeah, that was probably really rough and unfocused. I just had to record this while the energy was fresh and new. So yes, this is a super hard recommendation. Of all the K-pop I've ever listened to, this is one of my favorites. And of course it's day one, so we all know how recency bias is, but the fact that I sat down to analyze it and I'm still feeling the same way, if not better about it, is really telling of its authenticity here. So yeah, this has been Phantom Fandom, I guess. I forgot I was doing a video. Yeah, I want to thank you for coming. Please support Dreamcatcher. They're incredibly talented and deserve as much success as they could possibly get. Now, if you excuse...